Hi guys, welcome to today's tutorial. Today we're going to be looking at naming angles. Okay, it's a pretty straightforward lesson today, but we certainly need to know how to do this. We're going to be looking at angles, obviously, so I'm going to draw a couple of angles on here. I'm going to use the letters A, B, C, and D. Now, naming angles is a little bit different to types of angles. Think about angle types. Types of angles will be things like, acute, right angle, obtuse. We've got reflex and angle of revolution. Using those orders. Okay, they're types. So these aren't names of angles. These are types of angles. So what we're going to be looking at is naming angles. Now I've got an angle there which is denoted by a cross, okay, that little orange cross there. Now if I want to talk about that particular angle and I had to give it a letter, often people would say, oh yeah, that's angle B, because they can see that there's a B there where the angle is sort of occurring. The issue is, if you look at angle B, there's actually another angle there as well, denoted by the dot. And in fact, if I use the terminology angle B, what it actually would refer to, it would refer to the entire angle at B. So the cross plus the dot. So if I would just want to talk about the angle with the cross, we're going to be using not just a one-letter angle sort of system, we're going to use a three-letter system. B is where the angle is occurring. I'm going to follow where the angle at X goes. So you can see it starts from A, goes to B, and then it goes to C. Because you can see the angle that the X is denoted by is that angle inside there. So it's bound by angle A, B, C. Likewise, you could actually call it the opposite and start at C, go back to B, and then to A. So it could also be called angle CBA. The important part is that the B is in the center, because that's where the angle is occurring. So what would you call the angle which is marked by the dot? Well, hopefully you might say angle CBD, or you could call it angle DBC. Pretty easy stuff, hey? If I look at another question, I'm going to give you a couple. I'm going to say angle A, B, C, and D. I'm going to ask you to name the angle marked with the X. So hopefully you've said angle DBC, or you may have said angle A, not angle A, angle CBD. Either of those two angles would give you the correct confirmation. The other thing is, sometimes you might see this too, DBC. Instead of writing the angle sign, they might use a little sign that looks like that. Still means angle, it's just another way of writing it. But that angle sign is very important. If I just did DBC, what that actually talks about is a triangle with the letters DBC. So we want to talk about an angle. So we need to make sure that we draw that little angle sign in front of the DBC and the CBD to ensure that we have said that this is an actual angle that we're looking at. That's pretty much it, guys. That is naming angles. Remember, the difference between naming angles and the types of angles is quite significant. Here we're just using a three-letter system because there are two angles often occurring at that particular point, so we need to use those three letters. Hope this was useful, guys. Let me know if any problems.